Welcome back to the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show. I'm Jordan Ham alongside Haley Stasiak, and we are now joined by Queen Creek head coach Travis Schureman. Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on today.
So it's another year with Devin Larson at the helm. Seems like he's been playing for you for 5 or 6 years now. Just how have you seen him grow into the senior leader at the quarterback position?
You know, I think Devin just gets better every year, which is pretty special to see. He continues to work on his craft, and you know he's not resting on anything he's done in the past. He continues to work hard to get better, and you know it's been one of the things that's been kind of neat to see is just the guys rallying around him. He's such a good team leader, and not a rah-rah guy, but man, the guys will go to battle for him because of the things he does.
When we spoke in the spring, we talked about wide receiver Ryan Dobbs and how he's going to have a high ceiling for himself in 2018. He had 95 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns in that Week 0 win. What do you foresee as his value to this Bulldogs offense this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think he, you know, obviously gives Devin a guy to get the ball to. I mean, a couple of the catches he had were, you know, pretty great catches going up over the top of guys. Just a great route runner. And just kind of goes about his business and works, and it's fun to see him as well, kind of taking that leadership role on. He's a guy who's kind of waited his turn. You know, he's let those other guys that have been there, and he knows this is a senior year and an opportunity to shine.
You've mentioned Larson as a leader. Now you mentioned Dobbs as a leader. Who else are kind of these leaders on this team?
Well, you know, I mean, I think the thing that I like about this year's team is we have a bunch of guys that really like being with each other, and you know, you have the seniors, but they really treat all the underclassmen like they're equals. And that doesn't always happen on a team. You know, sometimes the seniors feel like it's their turn to be the guys and to shine and have. Yep. But these guys have done a good job. You know, you got Dakota playing the center. I think Kyle Sawyer's kind of an unspoken guy that plays left tackle for us that does it. But, you know, defensive side, you got Pritzny now playing middle linebacker who's waited his term. So we got a lot of guys that are just leading. We don't got a lot of rah-rah guys, but we have a lot of guys who lead by example, which is pretty neat to see.
Speaking of underclassmen, Isaiah Glass was a guy, when we spoke to you in the offseason, you were pretty excited about. Tight end position, he had 2 catches last week for 2 touchdowns. Just what do you foresee for him over the next couple of years as a potential staple in this Queen Creek offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat that coming out of the chute as a sophomore, you know, and I think the thing that went unnoticed about him is he played a lot of defense for us on Friday night. Played the defensive line for us and did a great job in there. So not only was he out catching passes, but he was grinding on the other side. And so he's a young man that if he continues to work hard, he's really got a great opportunity to do great things.
You've made this move into 6A officially now that the season has started. You've played 6A teams in the past. How is that experience going to help you guys as you continue to settle into this division this season?
Well, I mean, I feel like we've always played a pretty tough schedule at Queen Creek, and to prepare ourselves, I think it's just, I hope it helps us with our mindset of not being overwhelmed as we go into games each week, that we've kind of played some big teams, we've been there, so when we get there, it's kind of business as usual, and we don't get too excited or too over panicked. You know, that's kind of why we've done the 6As in the past, is to help prepare for this move.
You got a big game against Chandler this week. Just last year, you were able to go to Hamilton early in the season. You talked about kind of going through that experience, but how do you think that game in particular will help this team with this upcoming game here on Friday?
You know, I don't know. I mean, obviously some of our guys were starters, or we have a lot of guys that aren't a part of this team. I mean, I think that, you know, playing Hamilton last year, we played them for the last 3 or 4 years. They had our number till last year, and we were lucky enough to beat them last year. And again, I hope that it lets our kids know that, you know, no stage is ever too big, right? That you can just, if you go about your business, sometimes good things happen, and you know, you don't have to try to over-prepare or do neat things. You just stay the course.
Thanks so much for the time, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate all you do.
Good luck this Friday.
Thank you.
That was Queen Creek head coach Travis Schureman.
Big game this Friday.
They always have just a really solid team. It seems like each and every year they're always kind of in the discussion of the double-digit wins, and just I thought it was interesting when he brought up the no rah-rah guys.
I was just going to say that.
It's just really the attitude of let's go to work.
Right. Keep your head down and
let's go get our job done. Anything else jump out to you that Coach Schureman had to say?
When we were talking about that experience that they've had playing the 6A teams, playing Hamilton the past few years, how he said it's going to help them coming into this season because it's not overwhelming. They're not overwhelmed by the talent that the 6A division has, and they're settled into it somewhat already. So it's not like it's a huge change now that they're here in this division here this season. They've had that experience.
I think Devin Larson is also one of those kind of just unsung quarterbacks. It's such a strong couple of years.
We talk a lot about Arizona quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's such a strong couple of years for the Arizona quarterbacks. I think 2018 was an underrated class. 2019 is really strong. 2020 is really strong. Devin Larson is a guy that I think will give you kind of just everything you need in terms of being a leader, a guy that can just bring a lot to the program. He made some huge throws for them. I was at that Notre Dame game that they ended up losing, but he made some incredible throws that got them back into the game, forced it to overtime. He had that Hail Mary to Dobbs. So he's a guy that I think could potentially blow up recruiting-wise here. I feel like he's kind of the next guy at that quarterback position. And I know programs have come to him, have looked at him, like a lot about him, and I think just another really strong year as a senior, I think that could really help him. So they have a big game against Queen Creek.
I was just going to ask you, you're doing play-by-play for that,
yeah.
So you've been prepping for it. What are you keeping an eye on in this game?
Well, I went back with Chandler. When do you think is the last time that Chandler lost back-to-back games?
I overheard you say this, so I'm just going to let you go ahead and tell everyone.
It was like September 10th, 2013.
Wow.
They just don't lose back-to-back games.
I was a senior in high school.
So, yeah, for context, N'Keal Harry, who's going to be going to the NFL next year, it's not official, but come on. Chase Lucas, those guys were sophomores the last time that they lost back-to-back games. So
it's not going to be an easy one for Chandler. It really
isn't.
Yeah,
no, it won't. But this Sean Aguano program, it just seems like they bounce back nicely after a loss.
We talked about that some last year after a couple of losses.
Yeah, and they always play a tough out-of-state opponent. I think it was surprising kind of the way that they lost to Corona, but they always similar to Queen Creek, they schedule up. They try to get the best of the best in the beginning of the year to make sure they're ready.
Which is good for these teams.
Yeah,
challenge yourselves.
But we saw last year Queen Creek came in to Hamilton.
I believe that was the game I was at.
You were at that game, and
it was a good one.
They just shut the door on them. It certainly is possible, but it's going to be two really good teams coming together and squaring off. So. I'm going to Chandler, Queen Creek. Where are you going?
I'm going to Pinnacle at Mountain Point, as we mentioned at the beginning, and looking forward to that one. Seeing Spencer Rattler, Nick Larset, both quarterbacks there. This Mountain Point defense and more of this Pinnacle offense. Looking forward to seeing Caleb Covington, because I've seen lots of Spencer Rattler's film, watched a little bit of Caleb Covington's film as we were getting ready for Audibles and this show this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in person as well.
And he was a guy, again, grain of salt. It was 7-on-7, but I would go to these ASU 7-on-7s that Pinnacle was at, and Covington, I was going through footage of it the other day, and it was just like every time he touched the ball, he was in the end zone. So
he's got some speed.
He's a guy that can, and he can put defenders on ice skates. He can juke them, and then you give him a little bit of room, and he's gonna take advantage. So now it's time for a new segment. This was a brainchild of mine at last Friday at 11 a.m. So I kind of just threw the first question out there, but it's Jordan's high school football question that doesn't really have anything to do with high school football.
Jordan's specialty at making things kind of relevant to each other. This is good.
Yeah, and apparently concise titles for segments as well. So my first question was, what's your sneaky good hype video song if you are a high school football?
I missed this, and I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, so Devin Henry, who's running things on the other side of the glass. He put in a submission. We also had Brian Snyder. He suggested the Monday Night Football. I had the Pacific. Have you seen the Pacific Life whale commercial?
No.
Where it's just
Maybe,
basically
but I don't know what
it's
you're talking
whales.
about.
Just it's usually when it's a Pac-12 game, they'll have this commercial where like whales are just jumping out of the water and the music's like do 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 do, and it's just very like you kind of just want to stomp, and it's like that could be the most ridiculous hype video that could fit. So that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for POD boom. We're looking for what's the sneaky good.
Like in terms of what emanates you, or like what
yeah,
personality,
or just like you get pumped up, but like if you told someone like, yeah, this song gets me hyped up, they're just kind of like, all right.
Okay,
sure.
well, mine's not weird, but like every time I go into stuff, it's "Do My Thing" by Miley Cyrus.
Okay, that's perfect because
Isn't that
like
me?
you don't equate Miley Cyrus to high school football.
Okay.
Most people don't.
So like if I
You
were to
could-
choose Imagine Dragons Natural because it's associated with college football, does that count?
I think that's too close. I think I like the Miley Cyrus.
Okay. Well, that's me. That's
okay,
me.
Okay, so that was last
mine.
week's. So this week, we want you to use the Friday Night 360AZ hashtag. Tweet at Sports360AZ. Tweet at me, at Jordy
Not
Ham.
just limited to Friday nights. Please use it throughout the week.
Yeah. So here is this week's question, and maybe we can add some media to it, embed tweets in our
GIFs.
broadcast. We want to
GIFs.
we want to share these for this time next week. So, okay, a high school is going to be named in your honor. So the Haley Stasiak High School, Haley Stasiak
that's
Free Learning
weird.
Center, whatever. What is the mascot?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to
for
think
that?
about this and get back to you next
And
week.
yeah, stew on it. Think about it. Should I share mine? Because I already have.
If you have it,
I
let's
already
hear
have
it.
my answer. So, I think that high school football is lacking dinosaur mascots.
You have the video.
So I don't have the video, but that brought on a really good pre-segment AZ Audibles one time where we learned that Haley thought it was pterodactyls, not pterodactyls. But,
In my defense, I was envisioning the word in my head when I said it, and I know it's pterodactyls. I'm literate. I know it's pterodactyls, but in my head I imagined
but it was
the P.
it was
So
just the
I
perfect
said
brain
it.
fart caught on camera, and I just.
The best part of it was, though, is I was caught off guard with it, and you guys started laughing, and I was like, why are they laughing?
I just have it
I said it wrong.
like saved
Extremely
on my
wrong.
desktop just for whenever I need it to share on social media. But so mine would be like the Jordan Ham Academy Raptors, or
But the Raptors is like,
it
that's a mascot.
right? Yeah, that's what
like,
we're looking for.
Yeah, but
We're looking for
pterodactyls is like, that's
Right.
like, that's out
right.
there.
No, I haven't narrowed it down yet, but it will
something
be a dinosaur. I'll reveal which dinosaur it is.
What is the dinosaur with the long necks?
Brontosauruses?
That's not cool.
Brontosauri. Anyway, so the Jurassic Park hour has just started. So tweet us your submissions. They could be fitting your personality, or it could just be like, you know what? Here's an animal or a,
Or if you could rename your
character
high
that-
school.
that I
if you
want.
could rename the high school that you're at, what would you choose?
Yeah. So you have that control. You are the AD. That's what most of these questions are going to be. You have some sort of who's going to be your notable alumni, who, that sort of stuff. That's what these questions are going to be. It's not going to be who's the best running back in 5A. Like we'll let other people handle those. We're going to talk about the serious questions, like mascots.
Hard hitting.
So. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show.
Before we send it out, though, I do want to say, AZ Audibles on this topic of social media, doing a new feature there called the Social Snap. So tweet us using AZ Audibles, hashtag AZ Audibles, and hashtag Social Snap, and you may see your social media on our Fox Sports Arizona show in the AZ Audibles segment.
Yeah. So
plug that.
any fun social media
Tweet us on
type
Friday Night
stuff.
360 AZ, everything.
The players, the teams, they have
Instagram.
personality. We want to show the personality of the social media on that. So do that. If you're out at a game, use Friday Night 360 AZ. We'll make sure to share that, whether that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. We'll share it there. This show also will be on demand later in the day. We'll have the YouTubes up so you can rewatch all of these segments, and obviously the most important segment, Jordan's high school football question of the week, that has very little to do with high school football. So really good guests. Thank you to Lee Patterson, Steve Casey, and Travis Schureman for joining us. This is a Friday Night 360 AZ preview show on Sports 360 AZ.